This time on Boner Revivals, we drag this old International Scout out of a barn and get it running for the first time in years. Well, today we got a little bit of a special video for you. We're going to be trying to revive this old International Scout. About a year ago, I stopped over my landlord's and just happened to mention I was looking for some sort of a plow vehicle to plow the driveway with. And he said, well, I got this old International Scout sitting out back in one of the barns and it hasn't ran in who knows how many years, but if you want to, you can come over and get it running again and take it over to your place and use it. And well, it don't take much to sucker me into reviving an old classic like this, so I signed myself up.
I don't trust that, buddy.
I don't really trust that either, but if you just ignore it and pretend it's okay, it won't come down and kill you. So we'll start with checking the oil.
The lifeblood of the engine.
It's a little dark. There is a hint of fuel there. What do we got for cold? Nothing? The radiator's empty. I have very low hopes for the brake mass. There's nothing in there.
Wait.
That means I'll have... Oh, so this thing had a leaking brake problem.
.3, I mean...
Alright, so that's awesome. Oh, there's some in it. Oh, perfect. Perfect, that's good. Is there a second clip in there?
Actually...
Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's 3 of them.
Oh.
That one's empty. Is that one empty?
Super duty, buddy.
Oh, it's .3. Oh, that's an old, like, metal can.
We should use that stuff, you know? Don't use your good
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She's really correct. Ooh.
That looks brand new, buddy. That looks like we're in business there. That looks brand new.
Yeah, you should just dump that in there.
We'll get around to that. I'm worried. I want to make sure like the engine turns over.
That's
and
not
that.
important.
That's not important. There's no nut on the old the air filter there.
Nuts are suggestion.
Oh, is that an old 1-barrel? Oh, buddy. You know how much horsepower this thing probably makes?
All of it.
All 6 of it. Oh, yeah.
How am I going to do this?
So you're going to get the wrench in there? You're just going to put her on?
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah. I think that's how that works, right? I don't know. I watched a YouTube video on how to do this.
Oh. Wow.
Spins right over.
Oh, buddy.
Keep spinning it. Try to do a full rotation on it, just to make sure there's no sticky spots. So once you get her on there, just keep going.
Yeah, it fell off, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, it usually works if you keep it on.
Really?
Well, she's got compression, so that's a good sign.
I hear some of
the hissing.
It's like a...
I think that's good enough for me. You got a pretty damn close to a full rotation out of that. I guess we'll throw the battery in and we'll see if it spins over by her lonesome.
Oh yeah, just...
Oh, there's smoke pouring out of it. Huh. I would assume that that's not good. And I've seen this before and I should have paid closer attention to it. See how you have your red and your black cable. Usually the red means positive and the black means, you know, negative. But whoever wired this one up, the red would have been on the positive side. Well, look where the red one goes. That's the ground, buddy. And so you got to pay closer attention to that stuff. Let's see if she wants to spin over now. Crank it. We popped our cap off here because this is a points and coil type distributor, and usually you clean up the points here. We did that, we filed that, and still didn't have nothing. All right, so it's about a week later and we're back with this old Scout. So where we left off at was this thing didn't have any spark. I did order a new coil just to have one. I'm assuming it's going to be the coil, and if it's not the coil, well then I look like an idiot again, and this, you know, it'll be another week until you see me again. But we're gonna test this coil. If this coil is bad, like I said, got another brand new one to slap on it. Now, if I'm not mistaken on this, I might have to do a little bit of research just to reconfirm. I don't do a lot of points and coils, but I'm assuming on the one side we're gonna want to see if I can get a good ground here. We're gonna test that. Oh, and these wires are messed up too, so this kind of You know, you think I'd spend some time and get some better equipment. I don't see nothing there. But Jake did make a good point. The key might have to be on if it's going to be ignition power. Hindsight being 2020, it shouldn't be. I'm still not seeing nothing. Okay, stop. Okay, so we do not have anything coming from the other side. Oh, okay. So I'm going to assume this coil is dead. Now, basically what I was trying to do with this light was you're going to see power come out of this that sends it to the distributor. By plugging this in and then putting this to the ground side of that coil, we should have seen that light up, and we did not. So I'm thinking here that our coil is dead, like I assumed before. We'll go ahead and we'll throw another one, my new one over here, on it, and we'll see if we have spark now. All right, so we hooked everything up and we're still not seeing any spark here. So I want to test to make sure that our brand new coil is good. There's a way that we can do this in which we take the spark plug out of here and basically completely bypass. That might have been burning a little bit of oil. We'll just disregard that for now. But there is a way, if I do this correctly, make sure our coil is working. We have our wire that comes off top of the coil here. What I'm trying to do here is figure out if we have power coming through, and basically with this wire and the way that I have it connected to the spark plug here, we're pretty much bypassing the entire distributor. And with me taking this wire, putting it on the ground side of our cable, and then grounding it, like grounding the power out, when it sparks here, it should also spark the spark plug, as long as we have a good ground for the plug. And if it does that, that means that we know that our coil is good. All right, so we have everything hooked up here. We have our wire coming off the coil onto our spark plug. We have it grounded out here. I have this wire here. We're going to go from the negative side of the coil just down here to the clamp. That's basically going to ground it out. We should see the power. You know, power is going to come up through this wire. You should see this spark plug spark.
So we have that sparking.
See how the spark plug is actually sparking? So that means this coil is good. So
we should have tried that on the other coil.
We should have, but I didn't think that far ahead.
Why that coil's probably still good.
So that one actually might be.
You shut up. This don't work.
Yeah, no. So there's something going on with the distributor. All right, so let's get after our cap here. It's got these little bands on it. And you just pop them off. That comes apart. So I mentioned before, right here, these are our points. And I was mentioning before, we actually did take sandpaper and clean them initially. You know, usually you're going to see the corrosion here, but I'm thinking that either inside this cap, you know, we'll take a look at the pointer in the top here of the actual rotor itself, clean it all. Just because I've seen crazier stuff happen. I mean, that does have a little bit across the top. So, you know, we'll take the time, we'll clean that off. You don't want to be too crazy with it, mostly because this makes contact on the inside of that cap. So if you take a bunch of material off of this, you know, the electric current has to shoot across a greater gap. Get you in here and get a good look at this. I'm not a big fan of this, which would be a ground wire over to our capacitor there. I'm not a huge fan of how that looks. Pulled off our cap again, completely off. That looks like a lot of corrosion in there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to clean them up, and maybe, we're just shooting in the dark at this point. We got our cap cleaned up. I just took some like Scotch-Brite paper, stuck it down in there, and just twisted it back and forth. All right, I'm gonna need you all to do me a favor here. I need you all to keep an eye on that light for me. If she starts blinking, yell at me, all right? I went ahead and ordered everything that we could potentially need here. So pretty much going to rebuild the distributor at this point. Got a new cap, got a new rotor, and a new set of points. It's one of those things we can sit here and keep fighting this as long as we want, but at this point, let's just put the new parts in it. There's our new rotor, and then this should be our new set of points. I wouldn't be surprised if we throw the set of points in there. She wants to do the thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and replace everything. Alrighty, we're gonna drag the old Scout out today with the tractor. We're gonna get her up by the road so I can swing by with the trailer and get her in a warm shop so we can keep wrenching on it. Something I did want to mention quick, before we drug this over here, I did, you know, we talked about ordering up the new cap to do spark plug wires. There's a new rotor in there, and there's also a new set of points. So hopefully that'll take care of some of the gremlins that we had going on here. We got our battery plugged back in. What I'm gonna do here, I'll show it to you here first. I was experimenting off camera here, but going back to the whole no spark issue, I went ahead and plugged the spark plug wire right off the coil onto our tester there. So basically, if this is functioning the way it should, you're gonna see the power come out of this, light this up, and then that means we know that we got power going into the cap. I'll go ahead and do it again here so you guys can actually see it. All right, so we got power going in. So what I want to do now is to see if we have it coming out is we'll plug all that back in. Plug one of our spark plug wires on the other side, and basically that'll tell us, after I get this all hooked up, if we have power coming back out of the distributor. So we got power on the outside of the distributor, so that means we should have spark back now. If we seem to have spark back, I'm gonna give it a little shot of fuel there. Will it light off? Oh, it popped! Ryan! No way, how about that? The old girl might live after all. Sounds hopeful. It's backfiring out of the carb hard. I wouldn't be surprised if the carb needs a rebuild, but yeah, rolling out number one here. That's pretty carboned up there. So like I said, we'll go ahead and clean them. I'm not gonna go too crazy here. Little piece of sandpaper and just clean that up a little bit. All right, we're all back in. Let's try to fire it up again. Played with this thing a bunch off camera. It's got fuel and it's got spark. It ain't firing up. So I did pull the valve cover off. I want to make sure that all of our valves are functioning. And I also want to do a little bit of research on these engines because I don't know anything about them. From what I did see though, if we come down here, just down past the water pump on that side of the block, it's actually casted in there. That would be your engine identification number. If I get you down in here, there's a 4. And that should say 152. So this is the smallest inline 4-cylinder that they put in these. I believe they called them the Comanche. Just kind of doing an inspection over our rockers and stuff. Everything is obviously, looks like it's intact. It's crazy how these push rods are in there. And with that rocker arm style on the shaft, that's pretty neat stuff. I would like to spin it over here and just confirm that all of them are opening and closing the way they should be. Going back and looking at it here, it looks like the exhaust valve on number 3 is not opening up as merely as much as the other exhaust valves are. Not sure if that's an issue. And the thing is too, I have no idea how many miles are on this thing. It says 14,000, so I'm gonna guess that's 114,000. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but this push rod is not spinning at the same rate of speed that all of these are, and it looks like it's almost not even spinning at all. Basically, I'm kind of thinking that either the lifter or the cam lobe, specifically the exhaust one, obviously, because that's the one that ain't opening. I'm expecting either one of them is going to be whooped. I'm going to go back through here. We're going to do a health check on all these cylinders. We're going to do a compression test on each one. Start with number 1, working our way back. It was one of those things, if the whole engine has low compression across the board, and that one's just like super dead, then this thing's probably not going to run at all. So if, you know, like I said, these all check out and that one's just down a little bit, I think we have a good chance. And then we're going to come back up top and I'm going to start messing with that carb, whether I blow that one apart, try to clean it without breaking any of the gaskets, which won't happen. All right, let's do this compression test for cylinder number 1 here. Gonna crank it, I'm gonna count to 5 and we'll stop there and see what we got. What do we got? 95? 94? Okay. So that one's good. Set up on number 2 now. 101 or 2. All right, cool. Cylinder number 3. I think I know what we're gonna see here, but let's see what we got. That one's the highest one yet. That's 105. Alrighty, cylinder number 4. 115. Okay. So 4 is the healthiest out of all of them. Alrighty, so we got our 1-barrel Holley off here, and something that I noticed right off the bat here is there is a bunch of play in that bottom throttle shaft, that bottom butterfly here. That's definitely going to be enough to cause an issue here. I did off screen blow this whole thing apart and go through it. Everything else besides that looked clean. And the best way to fix this is you'd basically have to get yourself a set of bushings, and it's possible to do. I decided not to go that route, although this is, you know, assumingly a pretty decent carb. Obviously it's a Holley, but we'll throw that one on the shelf. I did go ahead and order another one. Alrighty, so here is the brand new one. This one came off of Amazon. It's a Chinese name, but this is the same brand carburetor that we had on our 1978 Dodge. Something that I took away from that one was it was a great carb and it did a fantastic job until I decided to lose the float setting that was in like this fitting here. So, but I really like that carb. It worked out really well. So I decided to take my chances on this one. If it doesn't work out, I'm thinking worst case scenario, if something's messed up in the body, I might be robbing the bottom throttle body plate and throwing it on the old carb to fix that issue. But we're going to try to throw this one on and see if it works. It is a little difference in all the throttle positioning and stuff. So we'll have to either rob some of these components and put them on here or figure out what we got to do. But I'm going to take some time. We'll get all this straightened out and then we'll get the carb on there. Alrighty, so we got the new carburetor on. The only issue that we're going to have here is this throttle linkage. We're going to have to figure something out. Basically, this one kind of hoops over as the old one came up somewhere in here. So I'm going to have to figure out how we can make this old linkage work with the new carb. Like I said, I was messing with this off camera and we were still having the same issues. And, you know, for it being a brand new carb, we shouldn't have anything. So I went ahead and wanted to verify firing order and timing on this. Firing order is 1342. Then I also went ahead and rolled it up onto what's supposed to be TDC. Looking at our balancer down here, they're lined up. So what I started noticing though, and what I do for myself when I'm trying to verify some stuff. Obviously, the pointer is pointing where it's at, right? When it's fully set. I made a mark here on the top of the base of the distributor to show me, you know, when the cap's off, where, you know, number one's supposed to be. Here's the brand new cap that we had. So you place that on, and then obviously it has its tabs where it's supposed to mate, meet, line up, whatever. But what I'm seeing here is that where this cap sits properly, there's little indents. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's little indents there. And basically that kind of tells you where the cap is supposed to sit. So the cap's supposed to sit right there. Well, can you tell me what's wrong with that picture? That is where number one on the cap is supposed to be. There's nothing there. But yet again, that's where this tab lines up with this. So the timing is incorrect. So I went ahead and reassembled our old cap here and placed that on. And all of a sudden, number one is lined back up again. So this thing should hopefully run. And that's where you can even tell, you know, this is the old point style with the male wire end and a female cap end, where this one was the male cap end and the other wires were the female wires. So it's together. Let's see if this thing will finally run. All right, we should be all plugged back in. Let's hit the key. Fingers crossed. What do we got? Fuel pump's priming. It's firing. dragged this Scout out of the barn it was parked in for who knows how many years. And with a little elbow grease and some effort, she was able to come back around. She's running pretty dang good now. I am concerned about that exhaust lifter and or cam lobe. That's something that we're gonna have to dig into eventually before this thing decides to eat itself alive and then the motor blows up. But then again, that means that we can just swap a small block or an LS or a 4BT Cummins or, you know, whatever else into it. But that's unlikely to happen, so we do need to address that at some point. I do want to thank my landlord, Butch. This is his vehicle, and like I said in the beginning of this video, went over there the one time and got BSing with him and told him, yeah, you know, I kind of need a plow truck for the driveway because I'm getting real tired of shoveling snow. He said, hey, we know that you do the whole YouTube thing and we really like what you do, so if you want to swing over, get this thing running again, there's a plow pump on it and there's a plow for it. He goes, if you can get it all running and working again, you're more than welcome to use it. So this thing is just so cool. Everything about it, you know, it's got the sport top on it. It is just a slick looking unit. So big thank you to him for letting us wrench on this thing and be able to use it around the property here. I'm super excited to give you guys a bunch more content on this thing. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to see more of this Scout. In the next video, we probably should be addressing the brakes because it kind of doesn't stop. I mean, I guess you kind of, you know, need to have brakes in order to stop. That'd kind of be a nice little added feature, I guess. You know, I think it just seems fitting that we get this thing back up in running order and do what it was meant to do and go take her down some trails and see how she does. Get out in the shop, start wrenching on your projects like these. If they're just sitting in a barn, what good are they doing? Get out there, start wrenching on your projects. If you got a project that you're working on, by all means, let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys are working on down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time here on Boneyard Revivals. Damn, that thing looks good. Oh yeah, Rob, I want to do a revival. It'd be so much fun. Ooh.
I knew you were gonna. Well, I should cut the video so you can work real hard.
Yeah, I don't think the people at home want to sit here and watch me
No,
not know what I'm doing for like 3 hours straight.
Pull up another YouTube video.
Pull up another YouTube video. All right,
More
I'm not good with the you know, the electronics. I'm usually if it has spark.
I'm a gunsmith. I don't do electricity.
So this is why, you know, I like HEIs because I just know them that well. I haven't played with these, so this is going to be a learning experience for myself. So I'm sure that y'all are going to let me know in the comment sections that I'm dumb, which you're absolutely correct.